Hello, everybody, and welcome to my talk today on AI and cybersecurity. I know Swami's keynote is a tough act to follow, but I don't know why they put me right after that. Um, just as a quick introduction, my name is Gilson Wilson, and I lead the security competency globally for all of our security partners, which includes GSI and ISV partners as well. This is my 25th year working in technology and cybersecurity. I started my career as a programmer slash engineer slash amateur hacker, and then eventually built secure systems for organizations and multiple e-commerce platforms as well, which are in use today. And I focus now on helping our customers and partners develop strategic cybersecurity programs through our advisory services. So there's a few things I wanted to cover today in my agenda. Essentially, the realities of attacks on AI workloads that exist today, and especially on AI, not just AI workloads, but on AI real estate. How AI and ML is being used today for both in securing organizations from cyber threats and also attacks by threat actors against organizations. And just given everything that we talk about in AI today and cybersecurity, it seems like every security company out there, and especially either product or services organization, seems to love adding that powered by AI title in all their products. And I'm going to try and attempt to at least demystify some of that because, not a majority of that is not actually true in the sense of an actual AI use case that will be used. So when we say security means business, now security traditionally has been considered as a blocker to business development. Many of us have been in organizations where they said, oh, the security functions come back again, there's compliance issues, there's control issues, I'm not able to push my new product out into production, I'm not able to get through my development process in time. However, in recent years, and there's data to prove this as well, is that organizations with a strong cybersecurity posture, a strong cybersecurity program and strategy are actually enabled to innovate and go to market faster. And this has been proved time and time again with actual data. Essentially, security, when we look at it, we look at security as like brakes on a car. You actually think it's meant to slow you down, but that's not what it's there for. Security, like brakes on a car, is actually enabled to help organizations move that much faster because now you know and you trust that you have the guardrails in place to protect you from doing something that's untoward. You trust that the code that you're pushing out is secured from attacks. You trust that you've taken care of all the guardrails to push that information out. So, but even so, about 80% of companies still believe that security is their top challenge. And we see this time and time again, especially when it comes to inhibitors, to moving workloads into the cloud and pushing applications out in the cloud. Time and time again, we hear that security has been an inhibitor for this. Now, given that is the concern, another statistic I'd like to bring up is the average cost of a breach today for especially highly regulated organizations like those in healthcare, life sciences, and financial services is actually about 5 million. Now, this is an average, but there are studies now that show that by the time data is exfiltrated, and then it's released on the dark web, reused, sold, etc., as a force multiplier, the cost of an actual breach for each record of data that has been exfiltrated is about $1 million over time. So that's an important thing to note as well. Now, with AI-powered security solutions that are being put in, and AI-powered security solutions that have been helping us in evaluating the magnitude of logs and malware and and threats that need to be detected in almost real time, what we have seen that it takes almost 100 days less using AI-powered security solutions in identifying and containing a breach using Gen AI and automation. And this is time and again proven in terms of how quickly you're able to identify a threat, remediate it, and in some cases autonomously remediate that as well. So in the current reality of AI and ML, so what are some of the most common use cases? And there is a current reality in what AI and ML can do with in cybersecurity. And yes, there are still some limitations in terms of accuracy and data quality. However, there are some new well-funded projects that now focus on AI capabilities that drive cybersecurity specific use cases. The most common AI security tools use ML and deep learning to analyze vast amounts of data. And as security professionals, we understand the amount of logs, the amount of telemetry, the amount of sensor information that comes in from endpoints and authentications, millions of them per organization in many instances. It includes vast amounts of data, traffic trends, application usage, browsing habits, and other network activity data. This analysis allows AI to discover patterns and establish a baseline for any organization. Why is this useful? Because once the baseline has actually been set, any activity outside that baseline is immediately flagged as an anomaly and a potential cyber threat, which allows for immediate and swift remediation. So when we say these are typical threats that AI and ML can leverage within cybersecurity, what do we mean by that? So for the good part about this is now we have Gen AI-enabled security tools and products that detect and respond to a lot of cyber threats with minimal to zero human interaction. They can autonomously take action when confronted with specific threats. It can learn autonomously when presented within an organization. It can learn browsing habits, network behavior, click-throughs of different URLs, and it can learn how legitimately applications should interact with systems. And then it can develop defenses on the back end if there is anything that's outside the ordinary. You can use AI and ML today, and this is true for security analysts today, where you can actually have them look at 0 or 1 day vulnerabilities that have been that have been opened up, and you can immediately say, generate a remediation script or give me code to patch one of these vulnerabilities, and it'll actually do at least 90 to 95% of that effort for you, and you should be able to use that for security analysts within an organization. One important thing that it does is definitely it addresses alert fatigue because of the voluminous number of threats and indicators of cyber incidents. It can actually compress some of these and say these are the prioritized ones that you should focus on, therefore reducing the number of alerts and threats that come to a security professional. So that also means that the bad guys are not sitting there twiddling their thumbs, right? Now, there's a lot of, I think when it comes to AI and ML and security, the bad guys essentially and the threat actors have been a step ahead in leveraging this because they have no guardrails. They can use every tool that's available to them on the dark web or not and leverage that to execute phishing campaigns, malicious scripts against any organization. They can set up AI bots to go out and scour the internet and look for vulnerabilities within organizations. And there's the emergence of certain hacking platforms like HackGPT, WormGPT that openly assist threat actors in generating malware, ID theft, data exfiltration, and way much more. Now, the thing about AI and ML is that it can even be used to create polymorphic malware. What does that mean? This is malware that adapts and mutates its source code to avoid detection and security protocols. And by learning from its environment and evading detection, it can infiltrate systems undetected. And for all of us in the security business, we understand that for traditional antivirus systems that use signature-based identification, this can be difficult to defend against. So when we talk about AI, we talk about inputs and outputs as well. So let's talk about inputs. Prompt injection, which uses malicious prompts to trick the AI into taking harmful action like leaking data or deleting important documents. threat actors, from an output perspective, they can compromise an AI system's outputs in data poisoning attacks by intentionally feeding it bad training data. And this manipulates the training data set and to intentionally bias it. Now, what does that mean? So it makes the AI learn the wrong way. And so, for example, if you intentionally bias it by continuously logging into systems at, let's say, 2 a.m., performing some innocuous activities on, let's say, a salary database or a financial database that you shouldn't be leveraging, the AI system automatically thinks that this is normal behavior over a period of time because it's innocuous, you're not doing anything drastic. So when it is time for them to actually perform malicious activity within the organization, the AI will go through it undetected. So one of the biggest things that we see with bad AI is still phishing campaigns. We all know that the one thing that cannot be patched and which is the weakest link in our security chain is still humans. And phishing attacks have now become very sophisticated, complex, and context-oriented. And what I mean by that is that I think now we have become very good at detecting phishing campaigns just because of enablement by organizations and what we have learned over time. But they're usually poorly worded. You can sense that they kind of sent generically, like, hello, friend. They ask you for certain things with a certain sense of urgency. But now, threat actors around the world where English is not a first language can essentially use a lot of these AI and ML capabilities to generate, basically say, generate me a phishing campaign to make somebody click on a link to reset their password and generate it for this region in the world in a specific language. So now you're getting phishing emails that basically say hello with your name in it because it's information that's being pulled from the dark web and also social media, etc. And it also says things like, we understand that a certain number of users in Atlanta have had their passwords that have been compromised in this particular transaction for a bank, and therefore you will need to reset your password. Now that is a lot more convincing. And a Harvard Business Review study actually said that 60% more participants actually were fooled by phishing campaigns that were generated by, that used AI and synthetic data versus the ones that were used traditionally. Now, in terms of insider threat, this is like one of the biggest things that we are seeing now. In terms of insider threat, by analyzing publicly available data, social media profiles, including LinkedIn and online activity, AI is helping hackers identify individuals within organizations that would be a better chance or a better target for hacking, and it allows for more precise targeting and reducing the chances of getting caught. Now, this kind of does 90% of the work for at least a nation-state actor or a threat actor that's looking to launch a mass campaign against an organization. Now, when we look at AI and ML, we actually break it down into 4 pillars, essentially. One is securing AI and ML, the systems themselves. So this is AI, the large language models, the security and data integrity of these, and protecting the real estate. Second is actually defending these against AI-powered attacks. So there are traditional attacks that still work against AI models as well. Let's not forget that. But there are also AI-powered attacks that we see from which I talked about in the previous slide. But you can use AI and ML for security operations, for detection, response, and prediction. And then there is a role of Gen AI and security automation and decision making to essentially help you perform a lot of these in an automated fashion rather than having manual intervention. Now, while all this might seem theoretical, I wanted to walk you through an actual real-world solution that's been developed by one of our partners. So this is a solution called Autonomous Security and Compliance. And this is powered by Amazon Bedrock, and it enables a customized control framework and roadmap to help customers' workloads meet required security and compliance standards during and after migration. Now, how does this work? It's fed large volumes of data, and this is petabytes of information from around the world, including MITRE CVEs, so the Common Vulnerability and Exposure Database information, the CISA Known Exploits Catalog, and even real-world data from sensors and telemetry received from security operations centers around the world. So think about all of that information and all of that data, all of those logs that have been detected around, malware signatures that have been detected in the APAC region or EMEA that can now be shared with those in the Americas regions as well. Now, it is then able to use ML and deep learning to analyze vast amounts of data from the organization, including traffic trends, application usage, browsing habits, and other network activity data. Now, this analysis allows the AI to discover patterns within the organization. Now it helps you baseline, this is what is priority for my organization. So for example, and this is a real life example, by the way, we had a customer who, which had a website in Indonesia that was defaced and malware was deployed and it was being used as a command and control server, and it was looking to exfiltrate data and then spread horizontally through the organization. This was pre-AI, but the signature was recognized, and that information was passed on to the rest of the organization, and AI was able to say that your organization has 24% of your servers that are not patched in a similar way to your subsidiary company in Indonesia. Therefore, I have already taken the steps to go and patch these to bring them to the right level, and I have isolated the servers that are potentially have malware on them already. And all this was done, the detection was done pre-AI. However, once that information was fed into the AI system, it was able to autonomously make those decisions and actually take care of that information as well. Now, with everything going on in AI, customers ask us, how they can differentiate partners. And then this actually brings me to the last part of my talk, which is like, what is the ugly part of AI in cybersecurity? And most of it comes to, and this is my personal view, is that many companies today are building AI systems and applications with, not just in cybersecurity, but other applications as well, and basically telling the public that this is a black box. Even we don't know how our AI system came up with a specific decision, which I think is completely false and inaccurate. It is not hard to log everything that a computer does. And this is basics, but you have, you might even know, like about a year ago, there were many large companies that said the same thing as well. It's like, well, we're feeding in information, we have no idea how it spat out this biased information or anything like that, because this is how AI works, this is how LLMs work. It's completely false. Companies can truly be transparent, and they should be held, their feet should be held to the fire, and they should be asked about, tell us how your AI took this decision, whether it was biased intentionally or not, to take a particular decision in generating an output. Second, companies today, especially in security, there are startups in security born every day, and they're looking to be first in AI rather than be good or right in security first. And that's a very big differentiator, because AI is fantastic, yes, but you still have to do all of the basics in security if you want to be truly successful, and then augment it using AI features and capabilities to get to your answers and get to your remediation capabilities, get to your real-time defenses much faster than you should. Third, the feeling of which is related is the feeling that companies keep putting AI powered in front of everything when it's really not the case. And I would encourage everybody who sees security companies that do this, please double click and go and see what the actual use case is and see how they're using AI security. We have seen many companies in security that put AI powered, and when we've double clicked and gone deeper, it's like, well, we have a chatbot that helps our customers when they come with customer support questions. I'm not joking, this has actually happened. And we're like, well, that doesn't mean your entire solution is AI powered. So the last thing I wanted to end with is keeping zero trust in mind. our motto today is no longer trust but verify, but never trust, always verify. And it's becoming easier to do that by leveraging the capabilities of AI and its vast and relevant data sets, and especially AI systems that are trained on organizations' behavior. And finally, I wanted to close by saying, as security professionals, I want to say that breach fatigue can be, is actually real. Organizations have either been breached already, and they're working to remediate it, or they don't know that they have been breached yet. But remember, a breach alone is not a disaster, but mishandling it is. And we expect that these new tools and capabilities like this, the autonomous security and compliance system, will help defend and quickly mitigate any fallout from these types of attacks. Thank you.